Ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Malo on football. Very interesting story I have for you today regarding Percy Tau. But hey, man, if it's your first time on Malo on football, it's just a platform, man, where I give my views, reviews on anything that's going on in the world of football, man, locally and internationally, man. So if that's something that you like, the type of content that you like, man, let's chat. Let's get into conversation. So here we go. Today, an article posted, I think it was on Twitter, I just received regarding Percy Tau and some of the statements that he made out in Egypt. And it goes as follows, I quote, "The South African League in Egypt is taken very seriously. Every Egyptian club dreams to play against a North, East, or West African team, but most definitely not a club from the PSL. I've asked them why, and the answer is South African League has players who are supposed to be playing in their respective leagues, but they are actually applying their traits not in Europe, where potentially they are meant to be playing." Goes on to say Percy Tau. So Percy Tau basically saying that people he's been speaking to in Egypt, which I find quite interesting, are saying that a lot of South Africans should be playing in Europe, but are not. They're playing in the PSL. So saying that the quality is that good. The stadiums are amazing. They go on to say, and Percy goes on to say, and the style of football is obviously quick. It's a very South American style. I always remind them that North African football is more successful in CAF than South Africa. They would tell me South Africa was not in football until 1995, and that money was not there in CAF. Hence, South African clubs never really respected CAF. Now that CAF is improving and South Africa is starting to play with love and passion. Wow, Percy. Okay. They say the PSL has become La Liga of Africa, where a struggling team can smash a top team in Egypt, like what Sevilla do to Manchester United, which I found quite interesting because, yeah, I know they play in the Europa League, but Seville don't play Man United season in and season out. If you see how Percy goes on to say, if you see how Brazilians are respected in Europe, this is how players from South Africa are respected in North Africa. Wow, man. End quote. Yeah, really interesting views from Percy Tau in relation to the conversations he's obviously having with people out in Egypt. I'd be really interested to maybe get Percy Tau to record a video hearing some of these views, because I don't know what league they're watching, man. And I know from a top 10 leagues in the world financially, the PSL is definitely there, and from an attractiveness of the brand, but from a success of the clubs in CAF. I mean, you look at the last 10, 20 Champions League winners. I mean, there's been Orlando Pirates, there's been Mamelodi Sundowns, and that's pretty much it. It's Al Ahly and, where he is, and all the other sides that seem to do well on the continent. You're talking about the stadiums, 100%, I agree with him. And from an infrastructure point of view and from a revenue, PSL has done absolutely wonders. But to go on to say that South African players are respected in North Africa the way Brazilians are respected in Europe, wow, I found that quite an interesting statement. So yeah, man, that's an article, and I'll post it for you guys to obviously give us or give me your comments on your views or regarding what Percy Tau was saying in this particular article. I find it rather surprising, if I'm to be honest. I mean, he is someone who obviously was desperate for a move to Europe himself. Didn't quite work out, ended up back in Africa with Al Ahly, with Pitso Mosimane, and obviously winning the CAF Champions League, doing amazingly well, and looking like he's happy there. Everyone would have thought that once Pitso left, he would maybe leave himself because the relationship was more with Pitso. But I don't know, it seems like Percy Tau potentially is happy and wants to stay. So it's going to be really interesting with regards to everything that happens on that front. So yeah, Percy Tau, man, giving his views and reviews on the state of the PSL according to some people he's obviously speaking to in a Egyptian capacity or colleagues or just people on the street to approach him to talk about the brand that is PSL. Give me your views, man, with regards to the PSL and the brand and where it is currently. I think with Dr. Motsepe maybe at the helm, maybe people are looking at it and saying he's the right person to steer just the whole of South African football in the right direction. We're seeing what he's doing. Obviously, we are assisting Banyana, that's Dr. Motsepe. But from a PSL point of view, obviously he doesn't get too involved. His CAF hat is more representing national teams and the national interest, obviously, of all of the football federations with regards to CAF. But interesting views from a Percy Tau. I don't really agree with them, to be honest. I don't know if those are the sentiments from all Egyptians. But I definitely would say from a South African point of view, a lot of people feeling that the brand of South African football in general is not where it needs to be. Football pundits and commentators and those who love the game will definitely say that the brand from a South Africa point of view is definitely not at the standards that people expect. Let's put infrastructure aside. Let's put high salaries and sponsorship deals and all of that aside. Let's just talk football and what we see on a week in, week out basis. I won't even come to stadiums because we don't even fill out stadiums. So that's not even something we can discuss. He enjoys full stadiums at Al Ahly week in and week out. That's something we don't enjoy here unless, of course, there's a derby. So interesting views there from Percy Tau with regards to everything that's happening out in Egypt. So yeah, man, gave you some of my views. Be interesting to see what you guys think with this article. Percy Tau on the PSL and the brand with regards to South African football. Malo on football. We out.